Hello.
Hello, David.
Oh, we're there. I always have trouble getting on.
Uh, well, technology, isn't it? It's
Never mind. Thanks very much.
that's all right.
How are you?
Not too bad. You?
Yeah, all right. Thank you. No, thank you for organizing another one.
No, always a pleasure.
That's good. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Hey, David,
Malcolm, how lovely. How are you?
you look younger than ever.
Oh dear, we both do. We both do. It's like looking in a mirror, like looking in a mirror.
Oh yeah. How are you, darling?
I'm fine, thank you very much. I'm
Good,
quite
good,
busy,
good.
but not probably as busy as you. What have you been up to?
Well, I'm about to leave at the weekend to do a movie in Indiana.
Oh my word, right.
Yeah, playing some serial killer or something,
Oh yeah, yeah, the usual, yeah.
Yeah, and then off to Houston and then to Mexico.
Oh
So
my word.
a
Yeah.
busy, a busy. I've got a house there, so I really am looking forward to going down.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's all on the one film.
Yes.
Mm.
Not the Mexico bit. That's a holiday.
That's a holiday. No.
Yeah,
Oh, very
yeah.
nice. Very nice. Well, I've just opened my Tiger Who Came to Tea yet again at the Haymarket. And
Oh my God, this is
uh,
the forever cash cow coming
yeah,
in.
well, it's my pension, I've decided. That
Well,
it's
that's great though. Congratulations. How did it go?
so no, it's fine. It's fine. It's our 17th year, and it's the 11th year in the West End. And
Wow.
this cast going off immediately afterwards, in about a few weeks' time, 6 weeks' time, they go to Singapore with it, and then they go to China for 6 weeks. And
Oh, don't take any cell phones.
no, no, yeah, absolutely, they're warned about that.
Yeah.
But no, it's and then I have to direct another production of the same play, which will
Good
be on
God.
on tour all next year. So
Wow.
never stop.
Well, that you're very busy. Congrats. That's great.
Well, I can't complain really. It's quite nice, and the audience is
No,
very,
no.
very good. So no, I'm very fortunate. Uh,
Aren't we all? We're
yeah,
fortunate to be reasonably, touch wood, healthy. That's really the main thing.
I think so. We're very
And of course, the older you get, the more you realize that,
mm,
naturally.
mm.
I know.
No, and I think I was thinking about Aces High today, and I was thinking that there aren't that many of us left, really, are there? Um,
Well, funny you should say that, but there really are. Well, of course, Peter first.
Peter's still, yeah,
The,
he's
the
still
dear
good.
Christopher Plummer departed.
Yeah.
And what a great career he had. And
Mhm.
I remember teasing him terribly in this thing. But he was a good sport. He didn't seem to mind.
No, but no, I thought he was lovely because you remember when there was the fight when you brought back the German officer you'd shot down, and there was a sort of mock fight and everything, and he Christopher was playing the piano for real in the
Oh,
background.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I thought it was lovely, and the fact that he could have been a concert pianist, couldn't he? Which I hadn't realised until
I didn't realize that.
Mm.
Of course, the one thing he did loathe in his career was Sound of Music.
Yes.
The most successful film ever made up until that point. He absolutely hated it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think because of the part that he played, but I mean, of course, he's very good in it,
Oh, oh.
and it's just a reacting sort of role and a very subservient kind of part to Julie and all those kids, of course. But that
Mm.
was just the nature of it. I mean, just to be in it, I said to him, just to be in it is kind of fun, isn't it? He went, no.
Well, I suppose you see, up to that point, he'd been doing your Shakespeare a lot, and he'd been doing a lot of classical stuff, and
Yeah,
it must have seemed, I mean, it must have seemed a demotion almost to be doing it.
yeah,
As
yeah.
you say, I mean, he was terribly good in it,
Of
and
course.
it's
He was a
still,
great actor. He was a great actor.
well, I
And
think,
he was always good in everything he did.
mm,
And he saved that movie by playing Getty.
yes, going in at the last minute.
Well, he was replaced. He replaced someone. I can't remember who it was now, but
Yeah, yeah.
he learnt it in 2 days.
Was
And
that
you know,
because?
it was quite lengthy, and he was, and you know, he'd still be alive. He'd had a fall in his bathroom. Hit
Really?
his He hit his head on the bath. Yeah. So be warned.
Mm.
Watch where the soap is.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he was, well, he was in his 90s, wasn't he, when he died? Did he get that far?
I think it was close to. Yeah, he
Mm.
was
Mm.
getting on. I saw him at some awards thing where he won. I think he was 87 when he won this award, the oldest recipient.
Mm. Mm.
And I said, you know, you're a standard bearer for us all, Christopher. He went, oh, no. But he had a wonderful wife too, Elaine. She was really lovely.
Ah, no, I
But
don't.
I remember teasing him a bit and saying, after the read through that we had with Jack, you know, I said to him, so what do you think this uncle means? He goes, what? What do you mean? I said, well, they're calling you uncle. It has some deep meaning, surely. He goes, well, what are you talking about? I mean, what meaning? I went, I don't know. It just occurred to me that, you know, all the lines are rather gay, you know. He goes, what? What are you talking about? And of course, every time he had said that, you know, I'd look over, he'd look at me daggers, you know, you little bastard. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
But
no.
but of course, it was a jokey set. But do you remember the lunchtime? I was told you go to lunch today. You got to go to lunch because there's a surprise visitor coming.
Right.
And I went, oh, okay. I don't know whether you were on that day.
Mm. Mm. I don't.
And in drove this black Alvis. I knew what it was because I had one. But this was a black one. Mine was a different color. But and the door opened. These crutches came out, and there was Douglas Bader.
Oh, God, yes. Now I do remember that happening, but I wasn't there. That's right. Of course, I do
He
remember that.
came on the set, met everybody, was absolutely charming. We were all, of course, he was, you know, he was a boyhood hero of all of us, an
Mm.
amazing flyer
Mm. Yeah.
and a great hero, you know, and
Mm.
losing his legs in an accident before the war. And
Yeah.
then, you know, joining up again, them letting him fly again. Well, you know, he had the most incredible eyesight, and that's what made him an ace. He could
Mm.
see things that just nobody else could see.
Mm.
And, you know, of course, he was shot down again, and the plane this time crushed his tin legs.
Mm. Mm.
And the Germans let the RAF send a lone bomber to parachute the spare set of legs. And
Excellent.
then he tried to escape. He did escape
Mm.
on the
Mm.
new legs.
No,
But, you
amazing.
know, extraordinary man,
Well,
really.
we knew all about, oh, no, I say all about it, but we knew from Reach for the Sky, which must have been, I don't know how old would we have been when Reach for the Sky came out,
Oh, maybe 10 or 12 or
10 or
something like that.
12. But I mean,
Yeah,
he,
very 12, maybe. Yeah.
his name was so part
Yeah.
of, everything we knew. Yeah, no, that's extraordinary. I do remember that happening, but I wasn't there that day. Yeah,
Yeah. Kenneth More played him, didn't he?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
And
was very wonderful film.
it was a terribly good film.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think still is. I mean, I think they still play it quite a lot.
You know, I'm sort of a bit loath to watch it again in
Mm.
case it's very creaky. And you know, I've
Yeah,
been surprised I have with a few of my favorite movies as a kid, and you see them now and you go, what the heck?
yeah,
But there were a lot of
yeah.
those wonderful films, war films around
Mm.
at the time of our youth.
Yeah. Dam
And you know,
Busters.
Dam Busters, Cockershell
Yeah,
Heroes,
yeah. Mm.
um, and then the one, you remember
Oh,
that?
what was that? You went out. I couldn't hear you for a moment.
The Heroes of Telemark.
Oh, yes, that's right. No, I don't remember that, but I remember
Yeah,
the title. Was that good?
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
No, I did see the Dam Busters not so long ago, and it does feel very slow. but it's still
Yeah,
very good. But everything is so that quick, 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 and flash and those noises on the screen and so on now.
yeah.
But actually told the story, terribly well, I thought.
I'm not sure whether it was true. A lot of it's
Mm.
glamorized for the
Mm.
movies, but
Yeah, yeah,
Guy Gibson, was another amazing guy, and he was, killed a couple of months after. You'd think they'd want to wrap him in cotton wool after that,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
but
Yeah,
maybe he just, wanted to get back.
yeah. Was that Richard Todd in the movie? Who was played him in the movie? I can't remember.
I probably,
He was in all of them.
yeah, Richard Todd, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
got
he
me.
was in all of them. And
Mm.
my mother was out at Denton Hall,
Oh yeah.
and Richard Todd was there.
Oh
So I
really?
got to shake his hand. He was
Right, right. Yes, because he was very short, wasn't he? He was
very small.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But had a wonderful presence. Another great movie of that period was The Cruel Sea.
yeah, yeah. Yes, that was Jack Hawkins, wasn't it?
Jack Hawkins and Noel Coward.
Noel Coward. Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Philip, are you related to Jack Hawkins?
Afraid not, no, no.
Oh, shame. No,
Good
name like
Lord,
that.
he looks like a child, this boy.
Well, he's organized all these things. We
I
keep
know, it's
night
really
Zoom.
amazing. Well, we better include him in this. How are
Absolutely.
you?
I'm very good, thank you, Malcolm. Yes, thank you for both for joining us. It's
Well, no, I'm thrilled that I could do it. And it's always a pleasure to talk to my old chum. We're very old friends now.
Yes, we're very, very old friends now.
1968, we met. But you can't get away from talking about If because, of course, that's where we met.
Mm.
And I had a screening of it. Well, they opened up the new old cinema in my town of Ojai in California,
Right.
and they asked if they could screen If. This is about a month ago, and I went, oh, well, and would I go? I went, well, absolutely. I haven't seen it for like 30 years or something. So I did go, and it was jammed, packed.
Wonderful.
And the movie does not date at all.
No.
It's a real masterpiece. I mean, we were very lucky to
Mm.
start with Lindsay on that film. And I remember him saying to me, "You'll never make a film as good as this again." I
Well,
went, "Fuck you."
yeah.
That's not true. Well, it's sort of true.
Well, yeah, no, I think it was extraordinary looking back that, for instance, the music, there was nothing in
Oh,
the film
yeah.
which dated it. It was nothing that said this is 60s music or something.
And
And
the Miss Aluba was my
it was
contribution.
your idea. Absolutely. I remember that.
Yeah. I played that at
brilliant.
school. I know. And
Yeah.
I said to Lindsay, "Do you know?" He goes, "Oh, I think I do know it." Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, let me listen to it again. He goes, "Yes, it's you want to play that, do you?" I said, "I don't know. You asked me what music, and I'm telling you." And he goes, "Oh, yes, okay. Well, we'll see if we can get it." And then when the film opened, I was walking down Oxford Street, and outside a record shop, they had the top 10.
And it was
Number
there.
5 or 6 was the Miss Aluba
Yeah.
Sanctus.
Yeah. That's
And I
amazing.
thought, wow, that's pretty amazing.
But it
Yeah.
was very clever how it fitted in to the
Oh, yeah.
cafe scene and everything, and
Oh,
in
yeah.
the study scene. I mean, it was an inspirational choice, I have to say.
Well,
Uh,
he used it, of course, brilliantly. I
yeah,
mean, I have
yeah.
no say in that. I mean, I just thought it would be played in the studies.
Mm, mm.
But it was brilliant the way he used it,
Mm.
actually. But then I like the other music too,
That was Mark Wilkinson, wasn't it? I think.
who was a composer from the National, I
Yeah, he
think.
was at the National as the head of music. That's right.
Yeah, he was brilliant. I
Mm,
mean, it's very subtle, but brilliantly used, I think.
mm,
He
mm.
did a great job.
Yeah. Well, when we go off on the motorbike into the countryside, that's a wonderful
Oh, the
accompanied.
one where you nearly shit your pants, you mean?
I know, I know.
I
There's a
mean, I thought I drove that so safely and brilliantly,
well, you
and
did.
apparently you were on the back, trembling like a nervous Nelly.
Well, I'd seen you being taught by Peter Braham and
Oh,
on a little pop, and then we arrived, and it was a bloody great 700cc or something.
no, 650.
650.
It
Okay.
it was a Gold Star, BSA Gold Star, big, oh, wonderful bike.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
of course, I don't really drive a bike, so I really had very little idea what was going on. But when the film is turning, you become somebody else, and you can suddenly drive a bike perfectly well.
yeah. No, that was when you were on it, and we were up at that roundabout before doing the one where we come round, and
Yeah,
that was when I
that
overheard a conversation between Michael Medwin and Peter Braham, the stunt arranger. And Peter said, I just want to say that I can take no responsibility for what might happen today. And I thought, oh, wonderful. Thank you very much. I've got to get on it with Malcolm in a
I'm
way.
glad you didn't tell me that.
And I had that scarf on too, Isadora Duncan type scarf.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And we
Yeah,
didn't we
yeah.
didn't
Was
have
that a
crash
red
helmets.
scarf? Was
Yeah,
it red?
yeah,
I
yeah.
know that was brilliant though. And then when Christine got on the stood up,
Yes, yeah, yes. I mean, it is extraordinary, and I think you're right. It hasn't really dated at all, and a lot of people say that. But
no.
Lindsay himself, that was one thing I always remember Lindsay saying. Whether he said it to all of us, I don't know. But he said, "My films never date." It was that arrogance. He said, "My
Yeah.
films never date, apart from the odd skirt length, perhaps," which is
Well, and
brilliant.
also the car models,
Yes,
cars date.
obviously, yeah,
And
yeah,
he tried to keep that out of it a little
yeah,
bit,
yeah, yeah.
but a
But
motorbike, that doesn't date. That's
no.
that's very relevant.
No, that's very clever. We better talk about Aces High, hadn't we, Philip? I suppose. Would you like us to talk about Aces High?
Yeah,
But
Philip, is there anything anything you want to know? Well, listen, let's talk about, well, I mean, I can tell you a little bit that I know of it. There's that dear Benny Fish, who was a
yeah.
Polish, I think he was a fighter pilot during World War II with the
Mm,
Polish Air Force. A wonderful man, a delicious guy, and he approached me to do it. He took me for lunch and told me that it was basically Journey's End, except not the trenches, the sky. He said the claustrophobia of the trenches, and I went, well, but isn't when you're in an airplane, isn't it freeing? And he goes, no, not if you're in a closed canopy and it's on fire. So
mm,
that's a good point. Um, but of course, they didn't have closed canopies, did they, in World War One?
yeah.
Anyway, it's a brilliant take on Journey's End,
Mm,
and I
mm,
think a very good screenplay. Gresham, which was the character I played in it, was originally on stage played by the great one, Laurence
Olivier.
Olivier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but of course, one was young and arrogant. Oh, well, yeah, but that's old stuff. This is a new take on it. We don't have to be compared to these old guys. And anyway, so I was told that. Um, and I tell you, I thought Peter Firth was wonderful, and I thought he would, go on to have a really wonderful career. A very, very good actor. When he was in Amadeus, no, not Amadeus. Was it
Equus.
Equus? Thank you. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good actor. And then
Mm.
we had a load of good actors in it, didn't we?
Yeah, it was I mean I no, I felt very lucky because Jack Gold, who I thought was a lovely man, lovely director too.
He was, I agree.
Very, very lucky. But he had directed me in a play for BBC, one of those Wednesday plays
Oh,
about
yeah.
Siegfried Sassoon. And
Oh,
Michael Jaston played Sassoon. And I,
lovely man.
he was great. I played his best friend. I mean, that was my usual my usual thing to play the best friend,
Yeah,
which was fine. And we filmed in Weymouth, and I had to ride a horse and got knocked off and everything. Oh, it was terrifying. But in that, it being so soon, that was First World War too, and I
yeah.
had to sing a couple of songs in the mess and all the rest of it. And maybe it was because of that that Jack remembered that and thought of me for Aces High. But certainly.
Well, also, you'd made a splash with If.
So,
That
well,
was
I
a very plum, nice part in that movie, and
it
that was
was,
a huge hit,
it was. No, I
Yeah.
was very fortunate, but it was there was 7 years between the two films. So you and
Oh
I
my
had
God, is that
really,
right?
yeah. See, 68 if and
Oh, I
Aces
suppose
High
I'd done
was
Clockwork Orange then, had I?
yeah, yes, because
And Oh Lucky Man. Oh my
and Oh
God.
Lucky Man, yeah, and it was 76 Aces High. It,
Really? I seem
yeah.
to have done a lot of work in 76.
Hmm. Hmm.
Whenever somebody asks me, when was that play you did, Entertaining Mr. I always go, I think 76.
76, yes, yes. Well, you came over to the Old Vic, didn't you? And you did that play. Didn't Lindsay direct it? Oh,
Well, he didn't direct the original At the Court,
no.
but when they said we wanted to take you to the West End, Malcolm, will you go? And I went, well, only if Lindsay Anderson read does jigs it.
Mm, mm.
I mean, basically, it was the same production, but all I will remember is him watching a run through and saying to Beryl, "All right, Beryl, no more Widow Twanky." And she went, "Oh my God, Widow Twanky! Oh," and that was fun.
Uh,
Yeah,
no, that was 76, and of course Simon Ward was in it, and
yes.
we've lost him
Who
now.
had played young Winston?
Young Winston, which I came third in that. Did you ever know that? I went up for Young Winston, and Richard Attenborough wrote me a very nice letter saying that I'd come third, which I took as a compliment.
And who was first?
Well, that was Simon Ward. And
Well, I have to tell you a little secret.
oh no, were you there too?
He begged me to do it, and I
Ah,
didn't want to work with Robert Shaw again. I
right.
went no, and I'd just done Clockwork,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
was on holiday in Cornwall,
Mm.
and the package arrived hand delivered of all Churchill's speeches, and he
Wow.
said, "This is a gift, whether you do it or not." And I actually sent them back because I felt I couldn't, take them.
Mm. Mm.
Anyway, yes, see, I'm really glad Simon did it because he was way better than I would have been. I
Well,
just didn't feel happy with the script.
no, what I remember is thinking that he managed extremely well on the horseback side of things, and
Well,
I wouldn't have done
you
that.
would have been very good, actually. You'd have been very good, David.
Well, maybe
Who,
in
who
working
was
with
who
him.
was second?
I never found out. That was an interesting one. No, I never found out.
Well,
But
it would have been funny if you'd have said Richard Warwick.
yeah, well, yes, yes, we'd all been Churchill possibles. Oh God. But
I
no,
do think about dear Richard from time to time.
oh dear. Yes, no, I do. I mean, I think he's, much, much missed.
And
Um,
I'm really bummed out because he really wanted to play Cliff when I did Jimmy Porter in New York.
yeah,
And the director just did not want him. And I was like, why? He is Cliff.
yeah, yeah.
I
No, well,
mean,
he is absolutely, you're absolutely right. I played Cliff in Rep.
yeah.
Funnily enough, when we were doing
Well, you'd be
if
brilliant, Cliff, too.
but Richard, no, Richard would be better
He's
than.
warm and cuddly, he's very
Mm,
well. He would have
mm,
been perfect, but he
perfect.
didn't want to bring the if thing, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yes, maybe. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't feel like overriding him because that's not a good way to start a relationship
Mm,
with the director. So And I met him a few times. I said, "Look, he just doesn't want this to happen, and I'm really bummed out about it." He went, "Oh, that's okay." Richard, he
Mm.
was so nice. I mean,
Yeah,
he's a
so you
spectacular guy. He's a beautiful man.
he wasn't ambitious in any way really.
No,
He did what came
no.
along and he enjoyed it and so on, but he wasn't
Yeah, he
yearning.
goes, he
Mm.
goes, I've come out as gay. Well, as queer. It
Yeah,
wasn't,
yeah.
was it? I went, oh, no, I didn't know. Great. How's that going for you? He goes, oh, Mark, it's so much better. When I'm on tour, I don't have to take a woman with me. I went, oh, well, that's a good thing. He goes, oh, no, I just go into, a gay bar, pick somebody up, and that's great.
Mm,
And of course, I went, oh, well, yeah, I could see, the advantages of that.
mm.
Um, but then, of course, the AIDS caught up
AIDS
with him.
got him. Yeah, yeah. No, very, very sad.
And never forget that conversation. It was just so.
Mm,
Anyway,
yeah.
you know,
No, I went to a memorial in St James's Piccadilly.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
it's huge. I mean, Judy Dench was there, and Joanna Lumley was there, and a
yeah,
huge number of people who all loved him and said lovely things. And
yeah.
Keith Baxter, with whom he was really, um,
Oh,
he spoke.
they were lovers, right? At some
Mm,
point.
yeah, I think for some time, because I remember that was another
Yeah.
thing. Keith Baxter was in Sleuth on Broadway.
Oh, okay.
And Richard said to me when I was going over to New York, he said, "Oh, well, you must go and see Keith. I'll do an introduction and everything." I went, and we had a very nice time in his dressing room and so
Yeah,
on. But I didn't realize quite what the relationship was. I thought they were just mates, but no, years later, I realized. But no, he was lovely, wasn't he? So uh,
yeah. He was a great friend of Judy Geeson. You remember Judy? And
yeah, yes, yes. Well, she's still around, I think. I don't know exactly what.
sadly, no. Well,
No,
she's still alive, but she's
no.
got Alzheimer's or dementia or
Oh
whatever.
no, really? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, sad for quite a few years, 5 years, I think.
really. Oh God.
I
Yes,
know.
it's the age we're at. This is the terrible thing, and I mean,
It's a minefield.
absolutely. Well, I lost my musical guy because all the tunes that I've written for my shows have been arranged by this lovely
Yeah.
man, Peter Ponson for 52 years, and he died at the beginning of this year, and
Oh,
I miss him hugely.
how
Uh,
old was he?
he was about 6 months younger than us. I mean, he was 80. He'd got to 80, but no further. But he had
Only
children.
80?
Yes, only
Jesus.
80. Yeah. Mm.
We can say that now.
I
Yeah.
know.
He died of what? When? Oh, he was
Well,
90. Well, that's not that old.
what, 80? No, no. Well,
No,
it's
90. Well,
not.
listen, if you get to 80,
Yes.
I think, anything that comes after that is just a bonus,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's it.
Mm,
You can't expect too much more,
mm,
especially if you're compos mentis.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and you've got lines to learn and all that, I mean, I think that's admirable.
Ah,
Um,
well, when I can learn them,
uh,
I'm forever going line. What? Oh, sorry. I'm also deaf and I can't hear you. I say I'm doing this thing, with these children, with these kids,
yeah.
and I'm sort of watching them going. No, they're going. That's your line. What? No, I didn't get the cue. Oh yeah, he said. I went. No, no, no. I was watching. His lips didn't move. Are you telling me that this kid is a ventriloquist? I mean,
Uh,
good God. It's just, what we used to think of old Ralph, well, I know lucky man,
yes.
just singing the thing, la da 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 da. And then you see, go west, young man, la da da da. When he wasn't on camera, he just la da 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 da. And you go, what the hell is going on?
Uh,
Yeah,
no, wonderful.
amazing.
Yes. Well, looking back from your point of view, though, working with people like that is extraordinary, really, because
Yeah,
those greats who we all sort of looked up to, and of course, the young
yeah,
ones now. I mean, in my Tiger, I'm working with
Hmm.
people, none of whom are more than, I don't know, 28 or something like that.
Yeah,
Most of them are 23, 24, which which is lovely and it's very invigorating and so on. But
yeah.
they know nothing. I mean, you could say John Gielgud and they wouldn't know who that was. And it's frightening. They've all been to drama school and they've all,
Wow.
supposedly know some sort of history. But you can't
Yeah.
tell a story about
I suppose Daniel Day-Lewis is the new John Gielgud, as it were,
maybe,
or something.
maybe.
But
Yeah.
John Gielgud was a Titan. I mean, one of the
Mm,
greatest of all time.
mm,
Um,
mm,
and a lovely man. I worked with him a few times. I adored him.
mm.
He was in Caligula with me.
Yes, of course.
And
Yeah.
Peter O'Toole would say to him, "What is a knight of the realm doing in a porno film?" "Oh, really? Oh, I really think so. I don't know. I think it's rather good, actually."
Well, of course, he was in
Yeah.
Aces High. We get back to Aces High.
Oh, yeah, God.
Yeah, he was your headmaster.
That's right. That's right. The Eton. We all went to, well, I went to Eton for that.
Yes, I didn't
We
go.
actually shot there
That's right, in the beginning of the film, and he
with
introduced you.
John.
Yeah, yeah. And no,
I think he only did a day on it. And wasn't Trevor Howard also in it?
yes, and Ray Milland. Uh,
Brilliant.
yeah,
Ray Milland is, I mean,
yeah,
but Trevor Howard, come on.
yeah. No, that was
One of I love Trevor Howard.
mm,
Well,
mm.
he spent all the time in a trailer watching the test match.
Oh, really?
And I'd come and say, "What's the score?" He'd go, "Oh,
Yeah,
quiet, quiet, quiet. Oh, look at this, look at it." It was great. It was so much fun having these
yeah,
guys.
yeah. No, it
Yeah.
was. There was a day when we had our photo taken, and it was like a sports team photo.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Firth and I were sitting cross-legged on the ground.
Yeah.
Then there was a row behind, which was Ray Milland, Trevor Howard, Richard Johnson, because he was in
Yeah.
it too.
Yes. Yes.
And then there was that French guy whose name
Oh,
I don't
yes.
remember.
I don't
Uh,
remember his name.
and then in the back row, you were there with a dog, and there was
Was that my dog? Was it
well,
a retriever?
yeah, I think it was. I think you brought him for the day, and we all thought he was going to be in the film.
Yeah.
But then there was Simon Ward, and there was
Right.
Tim Pigott Smith, whose
Oh,
it
yes.
was playing a small role, but he was there, and David Dacre, who was
Oh, I loved him. He was in
he-
Oh Lucky Man.
yeah, oh, he was a lovely man, and that Ron, oh God, and he used to write shows um, for Joan Littlewood and things. Now, what was his name?
Ron Pember.
Thank you very much, Ron Pember. Uh,
Wow.
and
Well, that
he,
I would not have got that in a million years.
yes, he wrote a play about Jack the Ripper, which was
Really?
done, yeah, I think it was done at the Players Theatre,
Oh,
and then it transferred, I seem to remember. But he was a
oh,
nice
good.
man, and he was one of the two mechanics. And
Ah, yes,
you
yes,
remember
yes, yes. And
when,
they were actually little characters,
yes,
those mechanics.
yeah,
Even though they didn't have much screen time, you knew who they were.
yeah, absolutely. Barry
That
Jackson was
was,
the other. Barry
yeah.
Jackson, who he was, they were both terribly good.
Oh, I worked with him in The Raging Moon,
Ah,
a
yeah,
film I did with
yeah. Nanette Newman.
Nanette,
Yeah,
Nanette Newman, directed by her husband, Brian
yeah,
Forbes.
yeah, yeah,
I just spoke to her about 6 months ago because I had not been in touch with her, I think, almost since the movie.
yeah.
And I saw on YouTube an interview that Brian gave, and she was sitting in, and Brian looked like he was dying. He
Mm.
looked cancer, had got him. And he was talking, and I suddenly went, I've got to get in touch with her and tell her, and I never told her how good she was in that movie. So I figured a way of finding her. I tried all the numbers I had because, the producer was still around. I tried him. No, that didn't work. So I got hold of her through Elton John's husband,
Oh, really?
David
Hey,
Furnish, is it? Right.
Furnish. Yeah.
And he was a great friend of hers and gave me the number, and I was able to call her and talk to her and tell her. I said, look, I know this is random. I'm sorry to, I said, but I just wanted to let you know how, and I'd seen this thing and I'd said, prompted my memory, and I thought, I'm not waiting anymore.
Mm, mm. No, I'm sure she loved that because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I think we often leave things too late, don't we? Things like that.
yes, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and I was thinking that about this friend of mine that I hadn't spoken to him for a few months, and I thought, I should really have been in touch because I knew that he wasn't well.
Well,
Uh,
is this your arranger, you mean?
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
well, he worked on the show, on my Tiger show. He was still the musical director, and he did it
Yeah.
on Zoom. He used to come in on Zoom to the rehearsals and watch them and give them notes and so on. He used to teach
Oh,
them.
wow.
You could tell that he wasn't well. So in the end, we had another one, a musical director in the room who
Yeah.
things, but then Peter would zoom in. So, but I didn't see him in the flesh for about 4 or 5 years because he had this
Oh,
before COVID, he had some sort of respiratory thing, and
oh,
uh,
yeah. Oh,
that he
dear.
considered to be extremely vulnerable, and so wasn't allowed to leave the house unless it
Oh,
was to
God. Yeah.
hospital for tests and all that.
Um,
Anyway, no, so,
I do have, Philip, you'll be glad to know, a couple of little nuggets from Aces High,
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
both involving um, Christopher Plummer. Um, you know that he wore a hairpiece in the movie. I mean, he didn't really want to broadcast that around, but actually he did. And it was a scene between he and I on the end of the grass runway, waiting for the boys to come back from their sorties out over the trenches. And it's a moving scene, but what happened was the wind was quite strong. And so his piece went like this. The whole piece stood up. uh, he didn't realize, of course, I was looking at him and I went, are you ready for takeoff? He went, what? I went, well, your flaps are up. And he was really pissed with the hairdresser that he gave a right bollocking to. And I went, hey, it's windy. Nobody could stick that down. I mean, give her a break, Chris. And the second thing was he had to get into a plane with Peter Firth piloting it, and he sat behind him. It was a two-seater. And they have a scene, and then they roll out onto the runway to take off. So we're sitting, this is a few days before, I'm sitting in makeup next to Christopher, and I went, I have to admire these young actors. And he goes, oh, really? Yes. Well, why? I said, well, Peter Firth, it's amazing what the work that he's put in behind the scenes. He's learning how to pilot a plane. I mean, he's actually gotten quite good, I heard. And I believe, just as a surprise to you, when you go out, he's gonna just gun it a bit and just go around the airfield, not more than 100 feet or something, and then just drop it down perfectly. And he looked at me like a bit old-fashioned. He looked, and then I'd forgotten about it. Anyway, we come to do this scene when they're getting in the plane, and we're all standing there watching. He gets in, he had a stick. Well, suddenly the canopy flies open, the stick comes flying out, and he said, I'm fucking well not going to do that. So fuck you all, screaming. And I was next to Jack Gold, and he went, what, Malcolm, what did you say? He knew I was behind some devilish plot. And he was, of course, we told him it's a joke. But it was a good one.
Oh, well, that reminds
And
me.
the thing had a Ford Cortina engine. It turned
Oh, so
and literally just and went at sort of 3 miles an hour out of shot. and that was all it could do.
Yeah, oh dear.
He thought
No.
he was going on a trip around the airport at 100 feet.
Well, there was when after we'd done If, and you were living, I think, in the North End Road in a flat, uh,
Oh,
and and I came to see
is
you.
that Baron's Court?
Yes, yes, that's right,
Yeah, it was on Comeragh Road.
that's right. And you were waiting because what was very special about you was that you refused to do anything unless it was a feature film after we did If, and a telly wasn't good enough or a stage thing, and you
No,
almost starving yourself in there
yeah,
waiting
waiting.
until you got figures on a landscape.
Yeah.
And I came round and we went for a meal, and there was this man who you must have known, who was a pilot, who was I don't know, BOAC or something
Oh,
pilot.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you spent
Oh,
a lot of the time at this meal telling him that you would be able to fly his plane and it couldn't be that difficult. And then you come along and could he give you a go and all the rest of it. And he was
oh
getting
my!
really, you wound him up incredibly. It was it was very funny.
Who the hell was it?
Well, I don't know.
I don't remember that at
I
all.
thought he was a friend of yours. No, I always remember that and
You
think,
know who lived 3 doors down from me on Comeragh Road?
no,
Christine Keeler.
really? Oh.
Because suddenly all these photographers, and I thought, what the hell's going on? This happened for weeks. And in the end, I went, what's happened? What is going on? They went, we're waiting for Christine Keeler.
Well, there you are,
Yeah.
and you've never known.
No, I had no idea. No idea. There's a
No,
very good, I think it was a very good TV show about that, about her
yeah,
and the whole Perfumo thing and all that. It
yeah,
was very,
yeah,
very well done.
yeah, yeah,
And
no,
the girl that played Christine was marvelous.
yeah, yeah.
Did you see it, Philip?
I think I did. Yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah,
very good, wasn't it?
I don't know what it was called, of course. Can't remember any names, but
No,
yeah.
no, it was very good, and
There's a
um,
very good show about the Mitfords girls.
yes. Now I heard about that. Has it been on?
It's fantastic. I
Um,
think I saw it on Netflix or something,
yeah, no, look
or
out.
maybe Amazon Prime. I'm not sure which one,
Mm,
but it's superb
mm,
in that it evokes the look of it is so magnificent. It evokes this period, sort
mm,
of before World War II in the late 30s. Really, it's beautifully done.
mm,
Um, everybody and all the actors are great. It's
no,
very good,
just
worth
look out for
seeing.
that. Look out for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I
Okay.
believe. So sorry, David.
No,
Huh?
you go on. Ask us a question or
Oh,
something.
well, Malcolm, I wanted to ask because I believe your dad was a pilot in World War II. Did that help
No, he
shape
wasn't a
your journey?
pilot.
No,
He was a navigator
navigator. Right.
in Bomber Command. Um, it's a big difference between a pilot and a navigator. But he refused to talk about the war. I
Mm,
don't even know how many sorties he did. It certainly made him. He didn't. He came out physically unscathed, but not mentally. He was alcoholic, and the only thing he told me about it was that he, instead of wearing a tin hat, he sat on it.
mm,
But obviously that wouldn't really make any difference at all. I
mm,
guess just psychologically to be sitting on, a little bit of tin. But it's none of these people really talk about the war.
mm, mm,
It's really hard to get them ever to really open up about it. But
mm,
my father was connected with the Royal Air Force for quite a bit afterwards. I remember him in his group captain's uniform and the whole deal. But yeah, the RAF, Well, without the RAF, we wouldn't be here speaking
Uh,
English, would we?
Yeah. Uh,
absolutely.
did your father's time as a navigator affect you wanting to do Aces High, or maybe helped your characterization of the role?
No, I think it would have actually had the opposite effect. But I mean, I wanted to do Aces High because it was a terrific part. I mean, it's really, and also they did some incredible flying. There's no green screen, no computerized stuff.
Mm,
All the flying is actual, and these pilots were fantastic,
mm,
and the flying in it was really incredible. Another one that was great, well, was the Blue Max. Remember that one?
yeah, yeah.
That was another one, another good one. But I think Aces High, in terms of that, the production values were really good. And, we had a wonderful director and a very good art director, and Benny, who went on to produce The Battle of Britain, which had every actor in the world in.
Mm, mm,
So that
yeah.
was amazing.
Mm.
Yeah.
He
Where
was
did we shoot? It wasn't Northolt, was it?
no, it was Booker Airfield. Booker Airfield, which was near it was down the M4 near Maidenhead or somewhere around there. I'd never
Okay.
heard of it.
You remember everything. I'm amazed. You remember all these bloody names. Yeah, I was just driven there, so I never really took that much notice. I was trying to learn the scene
Yeah.
I was going to do.
Yeah. No, I just bought a new car, so I rather it was an MGB, I think, and I thought it was rather nice.
Oh,
And so I used to drive it down each morning and park
that
it
was
in the
that
caravan.
was the car I bought when I got my first film
Yeah.
check.
Yeah.
Not if, I might add, which I think we were all paid £90 a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
What?
yeah.
Oh, you did Poor Cow before that, didn't you?
Well, it's not really my first film because I never made the cut.
Oh no, no, yes, they didn't. Yes, you were
I,
in
w-
it
I
with
didn't
Terrell White.
finish the role. I didn't finish the
Mm.
role. I just did the interior. The exterior was supposed to be a rainy day in London. You'd think a shoe-in, and for the next month it never rained, so they cut it.
They cut it. Oh,
Yeah,
shame, shame. No,
yeah, yeah,
I think thinking of your father and so on, you and I and people of our generation, we've been incredibly lucky in the sense of being
yeah,
born when we were, because we hadn't had to fight for the country. We got the National Health Service came in, didn't it? And
yeah,
the Education Act came in so that we could have education free.
yeah, yeah.
And there are a number of things. I mean, we didn't do national service, did we
I
even?
think that's the most important. By 6 months, I
Mhm.
missed that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was about a year because you're about 6 months older than me, but I
Yeah,
remember being quite relieved. I mean, not that I wouldn't have done it or anything, but it just seemed
no, but what a
waste of
waste of
time.
2 years,
A waste of time, totally.
But it probably would have been a fantastic
Yeah.
experience.
Done us good, maybe. I don't know. But no, I think we've been terribly lucky. And I think the young ones today and all these, they come out of education with all these fees, tuition fees to pay back all this money.
Yeah,
And the fact that it was a Labour government that did all this tuition fees always amazed me, because I mean, I went to Oxford with and didn't have to pay for a thing. I mean, I got the full grant and both accommodation or whatever you call it and all the tuition. And I couldn't have gone otherwise. I mean, my mother was working full time in order to keep me able to go and
hmm
do A levels and so on. So no, well, I think we've been incredibly lucky, really. But no, I was just thinking of Peter Firth in that scene in the nightclub when uh,
Oh yeah,
when he goes off with the
the
young
French
lady,
girl.
the French girl, and I
Yeah,
mean that was great fun that scene, and it just so happened that when he rather embarrassed got up and we were all laughing at him, his belt got caught on a chair
Oh, really?
And the chair came up, and we all laughed more. And it was the sort of thing that a director might well have said, "Oh no, we'll go again." But it was so real,
Oh, no,
and his
no.
reaction, it was perfect.
Perfect.
It was
Yeah,
lovely.
beautiful.
Yeah, I always remember that. And
Yeah.
that was in St. Catherine's Dock or somewhere. It was some strange area. So, it was either
Yes, I wasn't in that. So,
yeah,
yeah.
you were in that. You were in that. We
Was
were,
I?
yeah, we were all sitting in the
Oh, oh,
in the
oh,
nightclub,
okay.
and these girls were there and everything. And I got
Oh,
a
right.
rather lovely girl. I got Judy Buxton on my lap, who
Oh,
who
who
is
did I have? Any
so
idea?
yeah, I think you were a bit disappointed with yours. I don't know her name. Uh,
Oh, you shouldn't say that because
no, not at all. Not at
no.
all. No, your
Yeah.
character, perhaps. Your character was.
Ah, yeah.
That's
Well,
good.
Gresham was a weird one. You know,
Yeah.
he was a tightly wound fellow. Put it that
Uh,
way.
no, it was that was fun. No, and when they show the film, which they do a lot on ITV4 over here in the
Oh,
afternoon, for some reason they've obviously got it cheap to do lots of showings, but because it's daytime, they cut
yeah.
out various things, and the bit where I fall from the plane burning down to the ground is all cut, so that
But
you
that's a brilliant piece. I
so
mean,
well that's right. You see my face being blackened up and so on, but in the cockpit.
yeah,
But then they cut, and you have no idea. And the other thing, towards the end too, they cut to the new recruits arriving, uh,
yeah.
and you don't really get an impression of what's happened to Peter's
Oh,
character. It's most peculiar. And there was another scene where I was um, laughing at there were sort of semi not pornographic at all, but there were sort of pin-up
oh,
pictures on
yeah.
the screen,
Yeah,
and we're commenting and so on. They cut that because they obviously think that's a little bit too
yeah,
raunchy. Uh,
yeah.
and it's a shame because somebody wrote to me the other day saying um, about something else, but they'd said Ace is high, and they said they'd watched it recently, and I said, I don't think you saw the full film, which is a shame. But no, Peter, you said earlier on, Peter was I thought he was pretty extraordinary. Uh,
I did. I mean, he's a beautiful actor.
mm,
You know, I think he lost his way a bit, but
yes,
who hasn't? You know, and
mm, mm,
I think he's a wonderful actor. I mean, I always thought he was, and he was really. I mean, the scenes I had with him, I loved doing. He was
mm,
fantastic.
yeah. Well, Jack said to me before we started, he said,
Yeah.
"We've got this, new young boy coming in, and um, he hasn't done much film." He said, "Would you mind if he shared your caravan and you could sort of he could be under your wing?" Well, God knows he didn't need me to hold his hand at all, not at all.
Well,
No,
he'd done Equus, but I don't think he'd done a film, had he? Or had he?
I don't think he had, and I think
Oh
that.
no, he had. He
Uh,
did
mm,
the Tony Richardson's film. Something
oh,
Andrew in it, the title.
oh, Joseph Andrews.
Yes,
Oh, right. He had done something because he
he'd
hadn't
done.
done
He was the lead in it.
right, but he hadn't done the film of Equus, had he? That came after, I
No,
think, but
no, he hadn't
he'd
done the
done the
film.
stage play. That's right.
Yeah, yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
But
yeah.
no, and he came back from doing a scene once into the caravan, and he sort of had a furrowed brow, and I said, "Oh, what's the matter?" And he said, it's funny. He said, it's too easy. He said, I don't know. He said, I feel it should be harder. So I said, well, I have a feeling you're being really rather good. And he
You
said,
know, weird you should say that. I did this film with Robert Downey Sr.
mm-hmm,
that had Junior in it, and he was talking to me about Downey, who was, by the way, full heroin addiction on this film. And he said, "Yeah, Robert, he just finds it too easy." And that's, I went, he was so brilliant, as Charlie Chaplin.
yeah. Oh, wonderful.
He goes, "Yeah, he just finds it too easy, and it leads him into down bad alleys.
Mm.
That was his dad.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but there was the scene where Peter comes back into the nightclub,
Oh
hoping
yeah,
to see the girl again, and there she is
yeah,
sitting with a German officer, I think,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and he did it with nobody at all. I mean, it was a solo shot,
Right,
and
right.
Jack said, come in and look, hopefully, and then the realization and the slight whatever, and I watched him do it, and it was masterly, really, because it was
Yeah,
all there. This disappointment, sadness, embarrassment. I shouldn't have thought that. Whatever, and
yeah,
and then I remember seeing the rushes and thinking, no, that really is terribly, terribly good. But
yeah. Well, he had the chemistry with the camera too,
mm, mm,
which is just as important, really.
mm, yeah,
Because he's very watchable.
mm,
Um,
yeah, yes.
yeah, lovely guy, lovely guy.
But no, I think it. I think now the film is probably recognized a little bit more than it was then, because I seem to remember there were a few reviewers and so on, who were a bit sniffy about it.
Oh
Uh,
yes, Alexander Walker
yeah, yeah.
uh, said, "Oh, these actors with their film star haircuts.
Oh,
I'll
right.
never forget that."
Uh, uh, yes, no,
And a real sort of schneedy remark. Well, review the film.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's nonsense.
yeah, yeah.
Listen, it's a good film. I
Mm,
mean, great film, probably not, but I mean, what's a great film?
mm, yeah,
I think it holds up very well, and we can all be proud of it. I think that's really the mark of it. And if you can say that,
yeah.
I mean, I've done God knows how many films, maybe 200 or something, but you can't say that about many.
Mm, mm. No, I think
Um,
it's because is it next year, Philip? It's 50 years old, I think it is, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
next
because I
next
said
year.
70, 26. So,
Yeah.
um, and that's not bad going, is it? I mean, and so
too many of these 50 anniversaries coming up.
I know. Well, I was thinking about if you see, it's not far away that we've got the 60th of if, and you'll have Clockwork Orange as well. That'll be
Yeah,
coming soon. That'll be in 2 or 3 years' time.
I know. I know.
God.
It's amazing, really, that,
Mm,
who would have thought? Well,
mm,
as with Clockwork Orange, I often think if somebody had said to me, "You'll still be talking about this film in 50 years," I would have laughed in their face.
mm, mm. It is extraordinary. No, I think we've
Yeah,
been very, very lucky
yeah.
in our different ways. But no, I think you've been amazing the way you've kept going, doing so many films.
Well, listen, the thing is, you're really not in control of how great the movies or how bad they're going to be.
Mm,
You're
mm,
not the director, you're not the writer,
mm,
you're not the one who pushes that narrative.
mm.
You're just the actor. And actually, I've given some of my best performances in films that are absolute crap. If you can manage to be good in a bad movie, now that's the mark of a real pro.
Uh,
You know,
uh.
I always say that, but of course, nobody ever sees that.
Mm, mm, mm,
It's really interesting, though. That's often the case. But Aces High is not in that. It's a
mm,
really good film, beautifully directed, by Jack Golden. A very underestimated director, I think.
mm,
You
mm.
know,
I agree. No, he
what
did a
did he
lot.
do on TV? Something brilliant.
Well, the thing that was the most plaudits came for was
But that
the
was
Quentin
later.
Crisp, the
That was
naked.
later. That
It
was
was
later.
later, yeah, the naked
Yeah,
civil servant.
yeah.
Uh,
He did something
uh,
that brought him to national prominence
Was it
before Aces High.
well, maybe that
Good Night,
was
Mr. Tom or something like that?
Which one?
Good Night, Mr. Tom or something like that, was it?
well. Goodnight, Mr. Tom was later,
That was later.
and I mean,
Yeah.
it was rather lovely.
Quentin Crisp was later because he talked to me about it at one point,
Yeah, yeah.
and I knew I couldn't do that part, you know.
It was very, very, yes, that was John Hurt, wasn't it? And
Yeah, and he was brilliant, and it
he
made his
was.
career, and he deserved it.
Yeah, no, he was.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that was beautifully done. And I think I don't know
yeah.
whether he was more comfortable, Jack, in doing television, or it was just that those were the things that he was being offered.
Well, I
But
don't think it matters. You know, it's a
no,
camera.
it's
I mean,
a
the delivery system is really neither here nor there. You know,
yeah, yeah.
I
No,
mean, it's still film, and you
that's right.
know, where I
This,
think even television they were doing in 35 millimeter. It wasn't 16.
yeah, yeah.
So, you know, he was doing incredible work on television. Did he do Isadora Duncan or something like that?
I wonder if he did. He might well have done that. That was Vanessa Redgrave, wasn't it?
No,
No,
no, it wasn't. It was Vivian Pickles.
Vivian Pickles. That's right. That's right.
Um,
That could
The
well have been Jack. That could well have been Jack.
I think it may have been
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah. I tell you another one he did, which started at the National as a play and then became a film. That was The National Health, which was
Oh, yes.
a Peter Nichols play.
Peter Nichols. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. A wonderful writer. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And they
yeah,
translated it onto film, and whether or not that it was praised
yeah,
going on to film, I don't know. But certainly the Mad Jack, which is the thing I did, the Siegfried Sassoon one, it won television awards and
yeah,
it was and somebody it was lovely that they told me that because it didn't come out on video, that's right, when in at the time when videos came out, and I'd always thought I'd quite like to see it again. And I found myself working with a man who worked for BBC Video, whatever it was. And
yeah.
he was also a director who directed a thing of mine. And he said, "Oh, he said, I'll go and look in the archive and see what's what." And he came back and he said, "Yes," he said, that there isn't a broadcastable copy. He said, "There is a copy, but he said,
Wow.
I can get you one." He said, "But, there'll be a few flaws." And it came, and sure enough, there were, it was a bit grainy and all the rest of it, but it was
Yeah.
still really rather good. And then years later,
Well, Jack must have had a copy.
well, I think he must have done, but it wasn't something that was as done then as much as it
Yeah.
is now. But years later, dear Michael Jaston died. And this was last year or the year before.
Yeah.
And suddenly on YouTube appeared
Wow.
the complete thing done as a tribute to him by a relative. Now somehow they'd got it.
What's it called? What's it called?
Mad Jack.
Okay, I'm gonna watch
Mad
it.
Jack. And actually it was a very good copy. It was a much better copy than the one that I'd had. So somebody had a good one, but it was never released. It was never released on video
Uh-huh.
or
Okay, well, that's
DVD.
interesting. I'll look it up on YouTube. Good
Mm,
old YouTube.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. You do find some remarkable things there. It's true.
the
when I did a season as a very young actor, I think I was just 21 or 2 at Stratford. I shared a house with Michael Jason and his wife
Uh,
then, Lynn Farley.
yeah.
I rented a room in their house and I adored Jason. He was so much fun. And, you know, the gambling, the whole, I mean, it was insane. I'd given him £5 or something in a syndicate of horses, and he'd give me like £2 a week. You know, there's the winnings. Rarely did he lose the thing. I know I was in the plus. He was
Really?
really good at picking horses.
Oh.
And then I got to work with him in a better thing. It was directed by Clive Donner,
Hmm.
called She Fell Amongst Thieves, a Dauntford Yeats book,
Mm.
with Eileen Atkins. And Michael was in that, and we had a hell of a good time. I mean,
Mm. Mm.
you know, what a great guy. He was corpsing on stage of the National, giggling, couldn't stop. And Lindsay was in the audience and got up on the stage and shouted at them, just stop it now, get yourself together. And they were so shocked. I think it must have been something he directed. I can't think what it was.
Uh,
But
uh,
Michael told me this. I went, what? He goes, yeah, I've never had that happen. And I went, oh, well, that's, I can imagine Lindsay doing that, actually.
well, when we were on location in Weymouth for this thing, we were
Oh, yeah.
staying in a hotel on the front, which they
This
used
is Mad Jack.
filming, yeah.
Yeah.
And he and some of the crew and people, I don't know how it started, but they started making apple pie beds for each other so that
Oh, my God.
they go
Yeah.
in and all this terrible. And
Jason would have started that.
well,
It was him.
probably.
Yeah.
And they decided to get one up on him. And he was wearing those military boots, the sort of boots that we wore in
Yeah.
85, which were quite high. And
Yeah.
so they put something, a hairbrush or something, inside his boot. And the next morning we were at breakfast, and he came down a little bit late, looking very, very pale indeed, and limping heavily.
Oh, my
And
God.
he was saying, "Oh God, what's the matter?" So he said, "Well," he said, "some idiot put this thing in my boot." He said, "I put it, went over on my ankle." He said, "I can hardly walk." He said, "I'm meant to be filming on the beach and everything today." He said, "I'm not going to be able to do anything at all." So that everybody was doing it, and Jack was called, and and they put him in the minibus to the location, and he was, oh, he's in this terrible pain, you know.
And
And,
I know he's lying. He just did it to make everybody feel better. Yeah.
yeah, and because he gets out the minibus and gets onto the, oh, I don't know, what do you want me to do, Jack? You know, and Jack says, and he stands up straight and goes off, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with
Yeah.
his foot whatsoever.
Yeah.
And
Of
no,
course. No,
it's
I know
revelation.
Jason's moves far too well. I knew he'd he'd make something of that. That's brilliant. Yeah.
But he was lovely. We had a scene which I always treasured really, where we're both in the First World War. We're in France, and you know, similar situation to Aces High in a way, but we're army, and we're in a deserted, bombed out house, just talking about
Yeah.
wanting to go home, really.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I say a line about I just want to go home. I want to become a bank manager, do anything normal, and I don't want any surprises except at Christmas. And it was a lovely line.
Yeah.
Whenever I met Jason for years and years afterwards, he would come up and say, "Hello." He said, "Except at Christmas."
Uh-huh.
And the fact that he remembered it was lovely. But, no,
How
but
old was he when he passed? He was
well, he would have been a bit older than
87.
us, but
Oh
yeah,
no, he was older than us for sure.
I would say 87, 88, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, going.
Lovely man.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, memories, memories. But
Yeah.
anything,
The,
Philip, would you like to ask us anything sensible about what we're here to talk about?
Well, it's lovely just listening to you both. But I was gonna ask. Of course, the script is very wonderful, based upon the Jane's End we've already mentioned. But
Yeah.
how much were you both able to suggest things or add little flourishes? How much of it was what you guys brought to it versus what was already on the page?
Philip, you know you shouldn't ask questions like that. First off, you never remember. You're cast because, a script is the skeleton. When your mere physical presence fleshes it out, and then when you start getting into it, it becomes something else. And so it's impossible to say who did what. Um, and really, it's unimportant, actually.
Hmm.
Uh, the die is cast when the director or the producers or whoever casts it. And that's the most important thing. I remember Lindsay Anderson, at the court, and he was trying to cast this part. I went away to do 2 weeks on something, came back, and he was still trying to cast this part. And I was like, good Lord, you can't. I mean, it's a good part. What is the problem? And he goes, it's a crucial thing, and I can't get it wrong. So, I don't know whether that answers your question or it's
And then
really.
yes, it does indeed. Yes. Because was Jack Gold the sort of director that liked to do a lot of takes, or was he kind of? Do you know exactly what he wanted you
I
guys to
don't think he did a
do?
lot of takes, as far as my memory goes. He's the kind of director that every actor likes. He's very understanding of the actor's process, and very just very comfortable on set. No shouting, no this, no that, just with a little twinkle in his eye,
Yeah.
and adorable to work with. He was a lovely, lovely man. I'd love to have worked with him again, but
Yes, he was very relaxed. It was extraordinary. I mean,
yeah,
he didn't feel pressured, and it was as though you were all having fun. And that scene where the mock fight or whatever, there was a lot of freedom in that. I remember he didn't choreograph it really. He just said, he made it happen, and everybody responded to that. Everybody joined in, and. And I think there was a sort of mayhem feeling about it, which was what he wanted. Um, but no,
yeah,
I loved working for him, I have to say. And as Malcolm said,
mm,
there weren't many takes, and I think he did know what he wanted, but he didn't actually tell you in
no.
great detail. But again,
He'd just let you do it, and then
it,
he'd print it or he'd adjust it.
yeah,
But
that's
most
right.
of the time, I can't even remember one piece of direction from him, actually. But
Mm, mm,
the direction was done before you got on the set,
yeah,
in meeting him, and also
yeah,
he knew our work as well. So, and that's why I guess we were cast, So
yeah. And I
you're
think
going in with from a position of, confidence, put it that
yes.
way.
Yes, because that casting thing, I mean, as Malcolm said, I mean, Lindsay used to say, didn't he, that it was 90%
Yeah,
casting or something.
yeah,
And the story I always tell is when after a couple of weeks on If, and he came up to me and he said, "What?" He said, "You're going around with this long face. What's the matter with you?" And all this of it. And I said, "Well, I said I never know whether I'm actually doing, what you want." And it was true that he never used to say "well done" or anything. He would just say
no,
on, and you go on to the next
yeah,
setup. And I suppose I was rather selfishly wanting reassurance, but he said to me really very angrily, he said, "Listen, I took 6 months casting this film," and he walked
yeah,
away. He walked away, and that was the biggest sign of confidence giving
yeah,
to me. And I relaxed from that moment on. I thought, well, yes, okay. If there's something he doesn't like, he'll tell me. But I'm
yeah.
doing what he wants because that's why he cast me, sort of thing. And I think Jack
That's
was very
right.
similar, actually. I think Jack was probably very similar, and and there was never this feeling of panic. And then, with budgets and all the rest of it, they must all be looking at their watches really and wanting to get on with it and all that. But you never felt that with Jack. You never felt it.
No.
He was rushed, and he was enjoying it too. That was the other thing.
Oh,
He
yeah.
he used to
And by
smile a
the
lot.
way, it was Benny Fish that put together this remarkable cast. I
Mm,
mean, admittedly, they were in him for a day or two or whatever it was, but
mm,
still,
mm,
to get Ray Milland, to get Trevor Howard,
mm, mm,
Richard Johnson,
mm,
I mean, and of course, John Gielgud.
mm.
Come on, that's legends right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was pretty remarkable. Well, there were a couple of things about the premiere. We had a premiere with the Queen who came, a royal visit. Her Majesty was coming. And so, Lindsay, we were talking about doing the further adventures of Mick Travis. So, Lindsay said, look, when you meet the Queen, I'm going to have a camera. They won't let me into the cinema, but there's a glass door. I can shoot through the door and I can see you talking to the Queen. Make sure you talk to her for as long as possible. I went, oh God, they don't like talking. He goes, Malcolm, just do it. Me and John Fletcher will be out there getting this, and we could use this in the next episode of Mick Travis. I went, okay. So I'm waiting, the Duke comes up, say hello to him. The Queen comes, has a hand out. I take the hand, hold the hand, and she's not even going to say one word and starts to move. I pull her back and I just gripped a little tighter, and I said, Your Majesty, we're very proud to have represented what became the RAF. And she just looked at me blankly and sort of like, what an inane thing to say, and went, oh, yes, or something, and walked on. And I looked, and Lindsay's going, he got it. So he got the damn thing. A couple of weeks later, I said, what did you see the rushes? He said, that idiot John Fletcher got the wrong stop, and it was just black.
Oh no.
So we didn't get it.
Oh
But
dear.
Lord Mountbatten, he
Yeah, he was
loved
there.
the film. He was a great champion of the film and loved it, had charities, premieres for it all over the place.
Mm, mm,
Um, he really felt it was very close to what happened, you
mm.
know.
Yeah. No, that was a great day, and that was. I mean, it was a bit naughty because Jackie,
You
my
were there,
wife.
right? You were there for that.
Yeah, yeah, and yes, the Queen asked me if we'd actually been allowed to fly the planes or something, and I was only,
Yeah,
no, I don't think insurance would have allowed that, Your Majesty. I was like,
yeah.
but no, Jackie, my wife, had given birth 2 days before,
Oh,
and
oh,
the hospital had said that she could come to the premiere uh, as long as she was back by midnight in the hospital, because in those days they used to keep them in longer than they do now. And so we found ourselves the next day on the front pages of at least two newspapers with this Cinderella story
oh my
trying to
God,
get back.
really?
And yes,
Oh,
I felt
wow.
rather guilty because we'd stolen a bit of press from the, but at least it was press for the film. But
That didn't matter. I mean, that's fine. No,
she
that's good. Yeah,
she was able to see it, and there was a little pen over the other side of the of the foyer where relatives of us
oh,
people
oh, yeah,
were,
yeah.
and Prince Philip was very good because he went up and spoke to all of those. So she spoke to
Ah,
them.
that's nice.
Well, yeah, and but yes, it was a royal premiere indeed. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
no, it was fun, and I remember one royal going past. I think it must have been the Queen. I don't know, and she went, and her eyes were, because she was very short, of course, and you look, and her eyes
yeah,
were very riveting, really, and my eyes went like that, and suddenly this terrible dig in my ribs from Richard Johnson, who was next to me, because the next one was there, and it was either Prince Philip or Mountbatten. And how do you do, or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
No, and but no, it was fun, and Simon was in the lineup as well, Simon Ward, because
yeah.
we lost him very young, didn't we? It must be
I
20.
don't know. How old was he?
Well, I don't know. I think he was probably no more than 60, 62 or
Oh,
something.
good
Yeah,
God, really?
yeah, and because I always felt after young Winston,
Yeah,
I always felt rather pleased, or not pleased, but rather fortunate that I hadn't done it, because it was a strange situation. I always felt, because where do you go from there when you've played that part? Um,
yeah. Well,
you're always going down a bit, and I felt that he almost resented it in a funny way, and
I thought he was very, very good, and I
mm,
racked my brain trying to figure out how I would play that part, and realized that there was no winning. There
mm.
was, and also the thought of having to work with Robert again after Figures on Landscape, that was enough to turn me off. I mean, in small doses, he's great, but I mean, I just couldn't face it. And I
You just
think
thought
I
it.
told Attenborough that, you know.
Was Robert Shaw just quite an intense actor, or was it kind of
No, he was very competitive. He was
yeah,
a total alcoholic, and it was a nightmare working with him.
right?
Now, that's how I felt. I've read things where Harrison Ford, who worked with him on that war film they did,
Mm.
Oh,
I don't know what it was called because I wasn't in it. So even those, well, I'm in, I can't remember. But oh, I know what it was. It'll come. It'll come. Anyway, Harrison loved him. They got on like a house on fire, and I just thought, wow, maybe I'm going crazy, you know. But he was so out of control. I mean, but there was only two actors in Figures and Landscape, and
Mm.
you know, he kept rewriting the script, and anyway, I don't even want to think about that. But
no, I think Simon
yeah,
Ward is of all the characters in Aces High, Simon Ward is perhaps one that we can identify as an audience member in terms of the fear and the sort of the paralysis that he felt, and during that when he's having the dream in bed, and it's sort of it just sort of he can't get escape it, and when we think he's going to get back in the air, and he's pretending to be the airplane in the sky, and that kind of
yeah,
PTSD that of course wouldn't have been recognized back then.
right, right,
I thought
right.
it was a marvelous performance.
Yeah, well, it was a lovely showy part in a way. So when you have a part where
Simons,
you're going a bit
he was very, very good. He was a
very
very
good,
good actor.
very good. Uh, uh,
Nice man, a very nice man.
yeah, well, we had lunch a few times in the caravan. I remember that with pleasure when
Yeah.
you used to come down and he, um, he'd be chatting away and he'd done a few Italian films and so on. I mean, I think again he
Oh, yeah. Well, we all go through the Italian phase.
no, but there we are. There we are.
I had dinner once with Sergio Leone,
Oh, my
who
word.
offered me a part in a movie that was called Duck You Sucker.
Duck, you sucker.
Yeah. Now we went to a restaurant. The man was 300 pounds, huge. He didn't speak a word of English, all through um, interpreters. What a lovely man. And he was, you know, chatting away. They were telling me what he was saying, while plates of pasta, you know, just kept coming. An incredible restaurant. And anyway, he wanted me to do this thing. It was retitled "Fistful of Dynamite,"
Mhm.
and I was really bummed that I'd really wanted to do it, but I think it coincided with "Oh Lucky Man," and I couldn't do it. But yeah, talking about I don't know how we got onto that. Oh, because of Robert. But a really wonderful actor, completely. You would never say we'd be up for the same part. It's just that they'd seen it a different way, you know. Oh, what's his name? I can see his face, his great smile. Anyway, doesn't matter. But that's my Sergio Leone thing. I got so close to doing it, also very close to working with Sam Peckinpah, who
Mm.
who had cast me in this movie called um, oh, it was Jack. Oh, God, my mind is gone. Can't remember anything. It was the one about the outlaw, the Western we did with Dylan.
Oh, Josie Wales or something.
No, no, that's another one.
There's another one. Oh,
Um, this was Dylan did the music. Dylan was in it, did the music.
oh.
The guy that played my part was Chris Christopherson.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Um, and I was supposed to do it. I was really excited. There again, I think I was doing Oh Lucky Man or something. I can't remember, but anyway, those are the two that if there's any regrets, which there really aren't, those are the two I would like to have revisited.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
We were saying the importance of this time in history is say it went on to found the RAF. When you're making a period piece based upon not specific people, but you
yeah.
want to get the flavor of what it was actually like and how they would do certain things. Are you quite conscious of that, and maybe in terms of the preparation you do and how you approach it, you careful to get these things right?
Well, to be honest, you're given the set, you're given the costume, which of course makes it. You don't have to really think too hard about how it must have been. That's self-evident. And if you've been a Boy Scout, you know exactly, what's going on.
Hmm.
And no, I never thought about stuff like that. Excuse me. My thoughts were always the emotional depth, or where are we in, the character. That's always more a priority for me.
Hmm.
So I guess you'd say I'm not a method actor. I've got a frog in my throat. Sorry, excuse me. I
No,
don't
no.
know about you, David. You're more method than me, aren't you?
No, I don't think so. I, I, I don't
I
think.
thought I'd just throw you a hand grenade.
Well, I was in a play. The only time I've ever worked for the RSC,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
a play called After Haggerty, and with Frank Finlay and the lovely Leslie Sands. Do you remember Leslie Sands? He
Yes,
he played a
wonderful actor.
he played a detective on television and so on. But
Yeah.
he used to run the Alex Birmingham when it was a rep, and he wrote
No,
plays and things.
really.
He was
Oh
a lovely,
wow.
lovely man, and
Yeah,
we there was a period of about 20 minutes
yeah.
when I had just come off stage and he was going to go on in 20 minutes time, and I came back on again and met him, and he said, he said, I've got a little kettle in my dressing room, you must come in and we'll have a cup of tea at that point every time in the show, which we did, and we had lovely chats. Anyway,
Yeah.
playing the woman in it, they brought in a young woman from New York who was very much a method actress, and I think had been to Lee Strasberg for a couple of years or whatever,
Actors Studio.
Actors
Yeah.
Studio,
Yeah.
and she was in a rather different world from
What was her name?
ours. She was called Billy Dixon, um,
Oh, okay.
and she was very good in many ways.
Sounds like a footballer.
So yes, it does. That's right. Billy Billie Dixon
Of course.
Dixon. That's right. But yes, very much like a footballer. But she was always a little bit strange in rehearsal, and to be honest, one wondered if she was on something. But she was fine and okay. But it came to the dress rehearsal, and we got through, and we went into the auditorium for notes. And I hadn't been in this particular scene, so I didn't know what had happened. But David Jones, who was lovely, lovely director,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
he said, now Billy, he said, in that scene where you come in and where Frank comes in to the room and you are there and he has a chat with you and so on, he said it was very difficult. He said because Frank came in and he couldn't find you. And uh, and she said, yeah, well, I didn't really feel like talking to him at that moment. And so she said, yes, but the scene is that you're talking, and you were hiding behind the door, Billy. He said, so he opened the door and you were behind it, and he came out and he said it was quite funny because he looked under the desk and see if he could find you. and and she didn't seem to think that this was odd at all. Uh,
Wow.
the fact that she hadn't quite felt like doing the scene at that moment, and that I always thought was an example
Wow.
of the method coming out in a rather zany
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of the things that I thought was quite interesting about the opening of Aces High is it opens in the private school, and I thought there was a very interesting parallel
You
to
mean Eton?
yeah. So I thought it was an
Yeah.
interesting parallel
Yes.
with if that in terms of they were recruiting these young men
Yeah.
these schools had army cadets, navy cadets training, and of course it was NIF, wasn't it, where they were doing
Yeah.
some maneuvers and things like that. So very much sort of prepping them for war. And I went to a private school, and they had the same thing. You had army or navy, and I went to the navy
Hmm.
because it seemed to be a bit more relaxed. Um, but I did get some flashbacks when I watched If, and sort of like, I didn't like private school at all, but it just, that sort of trying to
Yeah.
sort of get you, as John Gilgood says, about preparing you for the game and to play the game. And
Well, that's it. And that was the whole thing. That contrasts all those boys ended up in the trenches or in, the flying corps or whatever. And that was the contrast was there to be seen by all. And how shocking and sad the whole thing really was that, a whole generation was just wiped away, pretty
Mm.
much.
Mm.
and I think, we do see a little bit of the ground war in Aces High, and although the pilots had a very short life expectancy, I think it was
Yeah.
17 days, I think was kind
Yeah.
of the average.
That was it. That
Yeah.
was absolutely true.
Mm.
And the majority of them never made it over the channel. They crashed in the channel.
Mm.
I
Mm.
mean,
Yes, they had very few hours training, didn't they? Or
but also the mechanical of these things, they weren't that great,
Mm.
having to fly over, I don't know, 50 miles of water or 40 or whatever it was.
Mm.
They were so unreliable, they just drop out of the sky. And if
Mm.
the engine stutters, well, then, they did glide down. And if you found a field, you're okay. But over the channel, no such luck. And a lot of them didn't survive that.
Mm.
Mm.
And of course, no parachutes,
Well, yeah,
No, no parachutes. Yeah.
it's
which is
hard to believe that, isn't it?
it's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I suppose you compared it to what was happening on the ground. The pilots that were over there, for the short life expectancy they had, it was a better deal they had than those in the trenches and all the diseases and the mustard gas and stuff. I suppose they had a slightly, for what we certainly see in Aces High, it seems to be a nicer lifestyle, although
You
short.
mean for the 17 days?
For the 17 days, it was, it's because
Yeah. Yeah.
it seemed, I can understand why people would have wanted to go to the flying corps, why it was quite a popular thing to do. Um,
Yeah. I don't know, though. I mean, it's not a very nice choice, is it? Either or, you're
no,
damned.
yeah,
But I suppose, there is a sense that, being in an airplane gives you this sense of freedom.
yeah,
Um, but, I think that the aircraft that we had were not as good as the German. And don't forget, they had the Red Baron,
mm,
who was, you know, who shot down more planes than anyone in either war. So
Mm.
mm,
I think it was the beginning of it all. And really, they were amazing. Really, they were amazing what they did, and I think this film, in a way, I think it was very smart to take the story of Journey's End and the characters, and they do work very well, you know,
Mm.
in the flying corps situation,
Yeah.
and they're wonderful characters, all of them. They all make their mark, and they all have their time.
mm.
Mm. Mm.
And I think what's interesting is when there's darker moments when it's when they're having dinner in the mess hall, and you
Yeah,
just casually mention that soldier, so and so didn't make it, and there's a little bit of a chat, and then it goes on, and it's
yeah.
all the sort of stiff upper lip, the sort of carrying the darkness, and then you're singing in the mess hall. It's sort
Well,
of,
that was the only way to get through it.
mm, yeah,
If you started to think and grieve the people that had gone or didn't come back, you'd never be able to get through it.
Mm,
Yeah.
And I think, this humanity just has a cutoff point where you just have to get on with it. That's it.
mm,
You can't get sentimental about it, or even best friends that go. I'm sure, you know, I mean, it's hard to even put oneself in that position
mm.
because it's brutal, really is.
Now that scene where Gresham, where your character um, is cross with Peter, the
Oh yeah,
viewpoint, for sympathizing or for not wanting to come to the meal because he's so upset and so on.
yeah,
That
yeah,
thing, you've got to beat that. You've got to come through that, and I think that's very powerful.
yeah,
It's awful,
yeah.
and at the same time, one realizes that the Gresham character, he feels it's not that he is totally immune to feeling anything when, and particularly when the Christopher Plummer character goes and so on. But there is this thing that you've just got to ride above that somehow. Otherwise you're
Well,
doomed.
he buries it in drink,
Well, that's
Mhm.
true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's another.
and I think that's his way
Mm,
out, kind
mm,
of. You
mm.
know,
Yeah.
um, but I must say I love playing that part. It was such a great arc,
Mm,
Yeah.
and he
mm,
was a great character, really,
mm. Yes. Well, the
and
contrast.
quite noble in a way.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's
I think so.
disguised. You don't see it on the surface,
Mm, mm,
but him really telling off poor old Peter Firth's character, he's trying to harden and toughen him up
mm.
because he knows he's been there, a
Yeah.
couple of years. He
Yeah.
knows. And he knows also that they're all going to die,
Mm,
pretty
mm.
much.
Yeah.
And despite the Eton education, he's not a conformist.
No.
He conforms in the way that he's an officer and everything, but he's always questioning it. He brings up the whole thing about the parachutes with the lunch with the brass,
Yeah.
and he doesn't like what he's seeing. I think that's part of the
Yeah,
likability of
exactly,
the character.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm.
And David, your character is sort of doesn't well. There's a bit of clowning around in respect to some of the physicality with the musical, dancing and singing, and lots of. Did you read it that your character was kind of hiding behind the humor to sort of get you? It's actually really terrified as much as everybody else, and perhaps he was slightly perhaps overcompensating a little bit. And it was that kind of an angle
Yeah.
that you.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, whether it's a total act or not, or whether he is the sort of cheeky chappy who gets away with it just by joking or whatever, I don't know. I mean, uh, I think I thought he was a lovely character to play because, and I had the chance of befriending the young one coming in and trying to help him and give him advice and so on. And then when we go up and when I get burnt up and everything, the nice thing is, and this is a classic thing where your character has been built up for people to rather like you, and then you're the one that dies. Uh,
Yeah.
and I've played several parts like that, and it's a great reward really because you feel, well, yes, if the audience are a little bit upset that I've gone, then the job has been done. And that's his job within the structure of the piece, I think, to be the jolly one, the one we all relate to or are pleased to see, as it were. And then he's the one that gets it in the neck and dies almost first.
It's a nice quality to have, to be
Mm,
likable.
mm.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was a lovely, lovely part. And in Journey's End, it's a very similar thing. I mean, it was very clever. Howard Barker's screenplay, I think, was very clever.
Yeah,
Because a lot of us, I mean, I remember when first told about it, and Malcolm was probably the same. One thought, well, the claustrophobia thing is the most important thing in Journey's End. You really feel that. And obviously you can do that on the stage, and to
Yeah.
open it up into the air seemed crazy. But in
Yeah.
fact, I think it worked very well, and the different characters, like Simon Ward's character, the cowardly one or so called, very very similar to in the play. And the play is a very powerful play. I remember seeing there was a wonderful production at the it was called then the 69 Theatre Company, which became the Royal Exchange in Manchester.
Oh
And
yeah.
Eric Thompson, who father of Emma Thompson, who was directing mainly plays then, but he did the Magic Roundabout, of course. He wrote all the and narrated
That's
the
right.
Magic
That's
Roundabout,
right.
and he
Yeah.
directed Journey's End in this small theatre in Manchester, and it was quite brilliant. And James Maxwell played the uncle part, and Peter Egan played
Oh yeah.
your part, Malcolm. And
Mm.
and they transferred, which was a
Yeah.
surprise really, to the way to the Mermaid Theatre,
Well,
much
I love
bigger.
that theater. What was
And
his name?
it was great. Bernard Miles,
Bernard Miles. You
he
know,
took it in.
when it first came out, um, when the play first opened, it
Hmm.
caused an absolute shock
Hmm.
because people, for the first time, got to really get a feeling of what it was like to be in
Yeah,
the trenches.
yeah.
And I mean, it really caused a huge scandal. It was talked about, and people were really absolutely shocked by it.
Mm, mm. No, I think it was uh it's one of those plays actually which unusually being a period piece like that, it revives extremely well. And
Yeah, because it is a period piece. Yeah,
yeah, but the characters and the situation is
yeah.
still very sort of pertinent in a way. Uh,
Actually, it's a very good. They should do it at the National. A really great
yeah,
production of.
yeah, absolutely right.
It would be a big hit.
Mm, yeah, definitely. But
Yeah, yeah.
maybe you never know.
Because I think I was first exposed to knowing about the World War One pilots was an episode of Blackadder, which was where Blackadder wants an easy life, and he wants to. So he hears about all these benefits that the flying career has. So he joins up, but they don't know some things, and they're under the illusion that new pilots only
Uh,
spend 20 minutes flying, and then they get to do lots of lovely things,
yeah,
and actually.
20 minutes.
And actually, 20 minutes is the life expectancy of a new pilot. And they only
Yeah.
work that out later. And that is, I think, very informative to people that don't know much about that period. And interestingly, there's a few shots from Aces High in the episode, some of the flying stuff.
Really,
I
really?
thought
Oh,
that was kind of interesting.
Yes, no, I read. I mean, Malcolm said earlier how good the flying was and all those scenes, and I read somewhere that they've been uh, used quite a bit elsewhere. I'm sure with permission, but they've been put into other contexts. But they were pretty remarkable. And I remember we had to do our cockpit shots, and they put a sort of shell of a plane up a level.
yeah,
And do you know, I remember with mine, because I had to be gradually got to look
right.
worse and worse and worse
Oh, yeah, yeah,
as I was being burnt up. And they had these pieces of um, I suppose they were like tubes, metal tubes coming along, and flames coming through them,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I ended up getting my eyebrows burnt, and my
Oh,
forehead was a bit burnt and everything. Yes, and I suddenly thought, well, I can't really complain, because if I was really in this situation, it would be a darn sight worse than that.
yeah, yeah.
But yes, because of course we were never. Um, I don't know what it would have been. The whole thing of actually doing it is quite terrifying, isn't it? Really.
Well, that was the scary part, was of course catching on fire
Yeah.
because, you know, also the wind that you're creating because of the speed of the plane
Mm.
is fanning it, and you literally have nowhere to go.
No. no,
you
and
know,
no
and
parachute either. Again,
no
um,
parachute.
so
So
you're
it becomes a coffin, you know, it becomes,
yeah,
um, that's
no,
where you end your life, you know, it's, yeah,
right.
terrible.
And Malcolm, did you enjoy doing the flying scenes and rocking about and all that? Did you enjoy the process of doing those clips?
It's not my favorite thing. I mean, I'd rather play a scene, you know, eyeball to eyeball, I guess.
Mm.
And it's all a bit technical, you know, green screen and all that. I mean, I've done it pretty much all my career, you know, green screen stuff, and I've never really warmed to it, and I never really know what the hell's going on.
Mhm.
Um, I
Yes,
remember I remember doing a video game with Ray Winston, and a very charming fella and a lovely actor, of course. And we were, you know, being paid quite a lot of money to do this. And I get in the car and he goes, "I've learnt it." I went, "What?" He goes, "I've learnt it." I went, "Why?" I mean, they're going to change it as soon as you get there. He went, "Oh, no, I don't think so." And anyway, we get there, new scripts are handed as we're getting out of the car. And he goes, "Oh, fuck." He goes, "Oh, I've got to find my glasses now." I see him in the corner of the studio trying to learn it. And I went, "Just put it up on the, you know, the screen so I can read it." "Yeah, let me see. One over there, one that perfect." Okay. So I said to him, "What the hell are you doing? Put it up on the, you know, the teleprompter thing." And he goes, "No, because I can't see it without my glasses." I went, "Darling, listen, it could be a gorilla with a pipe in its mouth. They only want your body with these electrodes. It's not going to be your head. We're in a cartoon. This is a video game, you know." And he went, I said, "You can read it. Just read it. You can put your glasses on. They're never going to see it." And he was like, "Oh, thank God." But this is after like 4 hours of agony for him.
Mm,
And
yes,
this green screen thing, yeah, I don't think you ever get used to it. Do you? Have you done a lot of it?
no, no, and I did a bit television in the early days, and I wrote a series, a children's
It was
series,
probably pretty primitive then.
very primitive, and
Yeah.
there was this children's series I did about two garden gnomes who go on an adventure and
Oh,
in the big city, and uh, it had been a stage play, and someone said develop it for a series,
oh yeah.
and they did a lot of stuff with film, uh,
Oh,
where you had a big
yeah.
side of a car with huge wheels, and then these little gnomes coming in and out and so on, and
Lord.
it was clever, but it wasn't very sophisticated in those days. I'm
Yeah.
talking 35 years ago. um, but in a way, it was fun. But in another way, it became, as you say, so technical because these two actors,
Yeah.
they couldn't move an inch to the left if they did, or that was no, you can't do that, and so it all
Right.
became very unnatural, really. And I remember
It
thinking,
is, but you know, I suppose that's why you get paid, you know,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
big bucks, as they say, because you just have to get used to that. I've done a lot of those. I think one of the first video games was called Wing Commander. And it was actually great fun to do. I must say, I quite enjoyed that. Was with, you know, what's his name from Star Wars, and not Harrison, Luke
Mark
Skywalker,
Hamill? Mark
Mark,
Hamill?
Mark,
Mm.
who was in Oh Lucky Man too.
Yeah, yeah.
What a lovely man. But anyway, yeah, it's there you are. So
Um,
the
I
original
want
question was, did I enjoy the not as much as some of the, you know,
no.
the drama scenes on Terra Firma. And that was more fun.
No,
I,
when you're in the cockpit situation, you're being told, oh, just look round to the left and something's,
Yeah,
or a thumbs up sign to somebody, and so and it becomes very
mechanical.
acting by numbers and
Yeah.
um, technical.
And you're
Um,
saying, where am I looking? Oh, over here. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
It's all that, goes on,
Uh,
but yeah.
yes, no, it's not the same as doing a scene with somebody else or
No,
just
no.
talking to somebody.
So I suppose on any film, but particularly one where you have special effects work and lots of, literally moving parts of planes, etc. I would have thought that continuity is very important. So the script supervisor or
You
continuity guy
know,
we would talk
to
about.
be honest, Philip, I think Aces High was, from the actor's point of view, it had just enough
Hmm,
special effects and loads of drama, in it.
yeah, yeah,
So that the special effects just helped it
yes.
enormously. And as I said, the flying was incredible,
Hmm,
which was real. And then they just put us in, you know, I guess to get the close shots, but they worked very well. So there wasn't really a lot of, you know, mechanical stuff from the actor's point of view.
hmm,
It was a very nice, happy medium, very good acting scenes. Well, they were all terrific parts, and they were, we were saying something that was kind of important, at that time, in the First World War.
Mm.
Did you both meet Derek Cracknell, the second unit director who did, of course, all the wonderful flying sequences? Does Derek Cracknell ring a bell?
Well, was that Derek?
Crackers, yeah.
Did
I
Yeah,
Derek
worked with
Cracknell?
him a lot. I love the man. He was
yeah.
the best first assistant director
Hmm.
ever. He did Clockwork until he had a big argument with Stanley, and then he left. He walked, and then Stanley fired him, but he'd already walked. I said, "Well, technically, you didn't fire him, Stanley, because actually he quit first." He went, "Well, I don't think so." I went,
Uh,
"Yeah, I think so. I was there."
uh,
Um, I- and then I asked him to do "Oh Lucky Man," which he did. He was fantastic. And then
yeah.
Aces High. I just think he was the best, fantastic.
He was lovely to me when we finished doing a scene, and I mean, I wasn't on it every day by any means, as Malcolm did much more on it. But on one particular day, we finished uh, getting ready, and they were going to do lighting and so on. And Malcolm and I were talking, and we were reminiscing and just having, and and Derek came up and said, "Oh," he said, "well, he said, do you two want to go off and have a quick cup of tea or something?" And I said, "Well, no, because I don't have a stand-in on this film, so I
Oh yeah,
stay here for the lighting." And
right.
Derek said, "Oh, really?" He said, I didn't know that." So I said, "Yeah, well, I'm not high enough in the billing to have a stand-in." Next day, I had a stand-in, and
Yeah,
that was thanks to Derek, and it meant that
yeah.
Malcolm and I could have a chat.
We're
No,
going out.
he was a lovely
Yeah,
man.
Hmm.
fantastic, fantastic. First, the best I ever worked with was
Yeah,
Derek.
because it's a difficult job because they've really got to control the show. They've got to be quite
He did those
precise.
first Bonds. I
Mm,
mean, his pedigree was amazing.
mm,
Hmm.
mm.
I don't remember who was the second on it. Was it Michael Stevenson? No,
I can't remember. Can't remember.
no.
Well, Michael Stevenson did a lot of, Bonds and other things.
Yeah,
He was
yeah. Michael was. I love him.
yeah. Yeah.
I was thrilled to see as a second assistant director, he won a BAFTA.
Hmm.
And I
Really?
remember going, no BAFTA has been more worth winning than that for him,
Mm,
because that's what they should be for,
mm, mm,
not for performances, judging one against the other from completely different sources,
mm,
which is ridiculous. Give it to the guys that actually, in the trenches doing it day in, day out.
mm.
And he always made a difference. I just loved him, and we'd all, talk about. Of course, he did Stanley's movies, Stanley Kubrick. So we, of course, laughed and laughed about our experiences with Stanley, and yeah, that was great. I worked with him a year ago doing a
Okay.
little. Well, we did a sizzle reel for a vampire movie, and Michael was there second again. I went, "Oh, Michael, it's so lovely to be here, with you," and it was great.
Mm.
Another unsung hero, I think, of films is the continuity girl or the script supervisor.
Oh,
Um,
yes,
yeah.
yes, exactly.
And it was a lady called Renee Glynn who worked on this film. She worked with Jack Gold a number of times. She
Yeah.
worked on the New Avengers, and David did an episode of the New Avengers, though not she wasn't on the one that David did. But and she I sort of had the great fortune of speaking to her over a few last few years of her life, and we did a few Zooms. And when I decided to get into doing these kind of interviews, she was the first one I ever did. So. If that
Oh,
hadn't,
wow.
if that hadn't gone well, then we might not be here talking today.
Well, then we'll tip our hat to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't totally I recall, which is exactly as it should be, by the way.
Well, yes, I
You
was
should
thinking that.
not
Yeah.
be thinking
Mm.
of who's on script, who's the script supervisor. That
Yeah.
means it's all working well.
Mm.
Mm.
And but I do remember her as being a very pleasant person.
Oh,
That's all I remember.
Mm.
yeah,
But that's pretty major, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, and everybody was really on that film. It was a lovely atmosphere
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
time, I thought. Uh,
And what was lovely about Renee is what she was 95 when she died, and she was razor sharp
yeah.
up to the day
Wow.
she died. And she one of her first jobs was a production secretary on Brief Encounter.
Good
Oh,
Lord.
right.
She also worked on a film that Trevor Howard did called Sir Henry at Rolling's End, and
Oh, really?
it's filmed in black and white. It was done in
Yeah.
the 80s, and
Oh,
she
wow.
recommended I watch that, and it's either the best film or the worst film ever made. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's so weird and so
Huh.
quirky, and so that certainly
That's
got
pretty
the
cool.
Trevor Howard performance.
Yeah.
Um, just to sort of start to wind everything up. Um, we've mentioned David's death in the film, but of course Peter Firth's, I think, comes quite unexpectedly. We sort of almost feel that, you know,
Yeah.
they're the two survivors, and of course, because you have this kind of parallel story of Malcolm dating his sister in the film, and you
Yeah.
get the feeling that it's okay, and then it just one of those sort of oh, I've crossed the road, then suddenly you look left and there's a bus that just gets you. It has that kind of realism.
Yeah.
How important do you think that moment is in the film, and of course it's very well done, isn't it? As well, it's a very effective moment.
I think it is. It's a, you know, climax kind of the film. Um, and even though you feel it's inevitable, you know, because he's young and innocent.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got to die, right? But it is a little bit of a shock, and I think the audience feels moved, very much. There's a lot in that film actually that's very moving. But it's only moving because you set it up in the earlier scenes,
Mm.
and that's it doesn't just work in one scene. It's all been fed in, before. And it's a very nice payoff.
Mm.
And I think we're proud of the film, David. No,
Mm. Yeah, oh, definitely,
yeah,
definitely, and I think it, as a storytelling thing, um, him dying at the end,
yeah.
it's inevitable in one sense, but it's still a surprise. It's a very
Which is what
interesting
makes it so great.
mixture.
Yeah,
Exactly, and
yeah,
it is
yeah,
as you said, Philip. It's very well done because it is a huge shock.
yeah.
and then you see these young recruits or whatever young ones coming in who
Yeah,
come in, and you think, well, they'll be the next to go, as it.
yeah,
Well,
Uh,
that's what
mm,
bookends the film, isn't it? Because from the very
yeah,
beginning, when Peter First's character arrives, they see a plane crash as he's on the way to base, and when he's
yeah,
in the quarters, the
mm,
picture of the previous pilot with his wife and small baby,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
they go, "Also, I forgot to take that down."
mm,
So you have that foreshadowing from the beginning,
yeah,
and then at the end, this horrific realization that the whole
yeah,
thing starts again, and they look younger
mm,
than
yeah, yeah,
Peter did,
yeah.
and Peter looks very young in the film, and so it's
yeah.
kind
That's
of
right.
this horrific kind of never-ending circle to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and I think one of the most interesting things about the ending is when Malcolm, where you're looking out the window,
oh yeah,
you sort of see Peter, and then he fades away, but you don't
yeah,
cry or anything. You keep it together even at that point.
yeah,
Right? If I
yeah,
must say so, I think that's a really fantastic moment of yours.
yeah. Thank you. Well, it would have been wrong to have let go completely there because otherwise it's going against everything he's taught
Mm,
Mm,
and believes, to get through. But of course, he's extremely moved by it.
mm,
And so it's a a delicate balance.
mm,
But that's what made it such a fantastic thing to play. And
yeah.
it was
mm.
it was a lot of fun to play.
Mm.
And
And and just to wrap up, is there any moments in the film particularly that you guys are fond of, or moments for your characters or others that we haven't touched on?
no, as far as I'm concerned, you touched on the most important shot in my character, which is the one looking out of that window, really. I just look back on the film now after 50 years almost with great pleasure of working with these terrific actors and working on something that's so English,
Mm,
and such a pleasure to do, rather old-fashioned now,
mm,
but I'm so glad that I did that film.
mm,
Um, Even though I was doing cutting edge movies like Clockwork Orange and then to do Aces High, well, it was unexpected,
Mm.
but um, it's exactly what it should be. That's an actor's life.
mm,
Well, so I suppose it's that variation that keeps you so interested, because I know that Malcolm, you've got,
Yeah,
was it 10 odd projects on the go, it seems, when you look at your IMDb profile. So you always you've
yeah.
not lost that passion, have you, for work, and you just look.
I love working. I love working like David. I love being on a film set. I'd love because I don't do so much stage now, but it doesn't really matter on the delivery system. I just love work, and I always look around invariably and will say, and they're paying me. We're having so much fun. I can't think of a career or job that would be any better than this, as far as I'm concerned. Of course, I've been very fortunate and very lucky, especially to get the first one, completely luck, but you need a bit of luck as well as having the talent. Talent's not enough,
mm,
that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of actors out there that are really talented, but they not say they don't have good careers. For example, Peter Firth, he was very well known for a show called Spooks in the UK, and ran for
Oh
years.
yeah,
They had a film out of it, and as well, and that was
yeah,
really his career-defining performance in terms of, you know, on camera. Perhaps with this being, a joint one. So I,
yeah,
it's like you both working on Aces High years after If, just
yeah.
the power of coincidence and opportunity, I guess. And
It's very nice, when you've worked with somebody early on in your career and you come across them again.
Mm.
and it's a terrific thing. It gives you a very warm feeling inside. That's all I would say. It's so great to see a friendly face, somebody that you've hung with and you respect. It's great, and that's one of the pleasures actually of working with people a number of times, which I've done actually. Oh my
Mm.
God, I'd never even met Richard Roundtree up until 3 years ago, and suddenly I did two movies that he and I were in the same year, and then the poor man died. I thought, wow, well,
Mm,
that how weird is that?
Mm.
And
mm.
that you know who he is, right, David?
Oh,
Shaft.
yeah,
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 yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Mm,
He was in this little movie I did, which was very good, called Thelma.
mm,
A 93-year-old actress played the lead, and she was brilliant. She's
mm,
95 or 6 now,
mm.
looking for the next one.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like
Available. Mm,
John Gielgud calling up the agent, Duncan Heath. Duncan Heath told me, he goes, I've got Sir John going, anything for me.
mm.
And he goes, good God, John, there are not that many parts for 97-year-old. He goes, well, it must be something.
Yeah.
But he would do a little part. He came and played the headmaster, whatever. He'd do it
Mm,
if you
mm,
paid him enough.
mm.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And you, of course, both enjoyed a lifelong friendship since if I take it with various
Yeah.
meetings at conventions and things like that. And
Well, I haven't seen you. I don't do those conventions in England. Do you, David?
No, no, I don't get asked to anything like that. But no, the the connection that we've had really since then has been, not necessarily continuous all the time, but one is
No.
very aware. I mean, you said a lovely thing, that little book I wrote, and that you did a forward, and you said
Oh,
that
yeah.
we'll always be brothers or something, and there was
Yeah,
something in that because the experience we went through
it's
on it
true.
was so extraordinary.
Yeah.
And I mean, I felt so incredibly fortunate to have been cast in that role,
Mm.
and now people, the fact that Malcolm, it was screened in his home cinema only recently. That it doesn't just haunt us. I mean, it is part of us, and we're very fortunate
Yeah.
that it
It
lives
does.
on.
It makes us brothers,
Yeah.
and it's a tie that will be there till the day that we drop.
Yeah, well,
You
absolutely.
know?
And we've lost our third person. We've lost
Yeah.
Christine as well. Uh,
Yeah, that was pretty
we've lost
awful.
our headmaster and we've lost our history master and all that. But somehow we're
Matron went to, oh my
matron went.
God.
Yeah, yeah.
But Biles is still around.
Biles is still around, and
An
yes,
adorable man. I know.
see him occasionally. And I tell you also is of course oh God. Oh, what's his name? The one who was in the Confessions film. You'll know, Philip.
Oh yeah, Robin Asquith.
Robin Asquith. Yeah, that's right. He's still around.
Lovely actor. What a good
Yeah,
actor he is.
yeah, that's right. And he will say, I mean, there was a 50th anniversary screening of If in Southend, the Southend Film Festival.
Oh yeah. He
Yeah.
was there, right? Was
And
he?
he came, and Richard Everett came. I don't know whether you remember him. He was
Yeah.
one of the boys, and
Wow.
Brian came as well. Biles came. And there were the four of us, and
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
transported to the cinema from the hotel in
Yeah.
a sort of the limousine that gets used for hen parties. Uh,
Oh my God.
it was all
Yeah.
pink and it had a little disco going and drinks. It was very, very camp. It was very funny, but
Yeah.
it was a memorable night. And the fact that after 50 years, it is pretty remarkable because not
Yeah.
that many movies are remembered uh,
No.
after 50 years, and the same with books and all sorts of things. I mean, And the fact that it's if had a great effect on a lot of people, and I do think Aces High has as well, actually, because
Yeah,
a lot of people remember. I was on a train from Oxford only last week or the week before, and it was full train, and I was sitting next to a man who decided he wanted to speak. He didn't recognize me or anything, and
yeah,
he just said, "Have you got enough room there or something for something?" And we found ourselves talking, and he was a teacher and this and that. And uh, I must have said at one point something that gave away the fact that I had been an actor. So he said, "Oh, have you been in anything that I might have heard of?" You see. So I said, "Oh, well," I said, "I was in a film called If." And he was a man of about 40, and he didn't seem to register at all. I said,
oh,
with Malcolm McDowell. So he said, "Ah, well," he said Malcolm McDowell was in a film called Aces High. And he said, "That's my favorite film of all time." So I said, "Well, I was in that as well." And he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. He said, "Oh," said that. So started looking on his phone, and he found photos of us. And
yeah, isn't that nice though? I mean,
it's lovely. I mean, it's very,
yeah,
very warming. And no,
yeah,
he said it was his favorite film of all time, and the coincidence of that was remarkable. But it was the fact that he said that I suddenly thought, well, that's really wonderful. And he didn't know it about If, so it wasn't as though he'd been following Malcolm's
no,
career or anything like that. Or no. So I
oh
think there
wow,
are people out there who for whom it's quite an
yeah,
important film.
Is it a great feeling to know that well these films have lasted the test of time, 50 years next year, Faces High, approaching 60 for If. Is it comforting as an actor to know that 100 years time people are still going to be seeing your performances, and as actors you have a sort of an immortality that us normal people, well not normal people, but us regular people don't have. Is it comforting? Is it a weird feeling?
I think it. I always feel like it's looking at the family photograph album.
Mm, mm,
You look at it and go, oh, you're sort of detached, but of course it is you or was you a long time ago, and it's like looking at heirlooms or something.
mm,
I mean, that's the way I look at it
mm.
anyway.
And I think we're very lucky to have a couple of things like that, which are actually respected by other people. I mean,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
could be things that we've
There's
done.
so much crap. Yeah, I know.
Absolutely. And I think of some of the telly things and the sitcoms and so on that I've done, which I certainly wouldn't want that
Oh my God.
the
Well, I
family.
did Crossroads. I
Yes.
did Crossroads. I did Dixon of Dock Green.
Yes, so did
And
I. Yeah.
Dixon of Dock Green got me to the casting director, Miriam Brickman,
Yeah.
who cast If.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. No, it's
And she
extraordinary.
and she also cast Poor Cow and dragged me into that.
Yeah.
When that didn't work out, she got me the meeting with Lindsay, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was because of Dixon of Dock Green.
Mm, mm.
Isn't that bizarre?
You
So
just never know.
I say to young actors, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's work, do it.
Mm.
It begets work.
Yeah. No, you just
Yeah.
never know. There was a time when I had two television things going out in the same week, and I wrote a few postcards to a few casting people and everything. And one of them was this Mad Jack that I mentioned earlier, which
Oh yeah.
I really thought, this is the bee's knee, this is really great. And the other was an episode of The Troubleshooters. You remember The Troubleshooters,
Oh
which was
yeah.
Jeffrey Keane and Ray Barrett and people. It was about,
Oh, Ray Barrett. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
And it was an episode, quite honestly, I didn't understand the script. And we were in the canteen before actually the recording, having done the camera rehearsals. And Barry Denman, who was in it, an American who starred in Cabaret
yeah.
as the MC, he was doing a guest thing in it. And we were chatting, and he suddenly said, "You don't realize that you're a baddie, do you?" And I said, "No, no, I'm not a baddie." I said, I've been doing this, and I'm no, no. He said, "You're a baddie." So I said, "Well, what should I do about that?" He said, "Nothing at all." He said, "Just play it the way you play it. That's fine." You see? and I was really confused, and it really wasn't very good. And of course, the inevitable happened. The both of them went out that week, and I thought, oh, I'd love to get a job from something. And I got nothing at all from the good one, but
Yeah,
I
of
got
course.
two jobs from the troubleshooters, the rubbish one.
Go figure. Go figure.
That's sod's law, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but we're very lucky to be in that position, I suppose, to get the jobs anyway. But
So true. So true. Yeah.
mm.
And finally, guys, you both have very prestigious careers. Where does Aces High kind of slot into that in terms of, I assume it's probably pretty high up for both of you.
Well, why don't you go first, David?
It certainly is for me because I haven't done many films, so the two, If and Aces High are the two major things. I did quite a lot of very nice tellies, which I look back on with affection. But no, those two are highlights for me. Hmm.
Mhm.
I've always been proud of this film. It hasn't been seen for a long time, and suddenly they put out a brand new DVD, 4K or whatever it was, and suddenly people are seeing it again.
Hmm.
I think they've seen it more in England, but I'm not living in England, so I don't get that vibe. But in America, it's been seen quite a few times, and I love the film. It's a really first class movie, and I'm very happy I did it. So that's all you can say, really.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's a wonderful film, and well, thank you very much, guys, for talking to me about it. It's been wonderful to
Thanks,
be
Philip.
with.
Thank you.
Well,
That seemed to go on forever.
thank you for reuniting us again and having
Yeah.
a nice
My
conversation.
pleasure.
It's lovely.
David, I'll call you when I get back to the UK. I was supposed to do a Jane Austen movie
Oh, right, right.
in Bath,
Oh,
Yes.
and I was excited to do it, did the deal, blah, blah, blah. Pushed the date, kept push. Anyway, they've pushed the date, pushed the date, pushed the date. And of course, they lost some of their funding, and I don't know whether it'll ever go or not, but
Right, right.
who knows?
Right.
One of those.
Yeah. Okay.
But if
Well,
it does, anyway, I'll call you. We'll
do.
go have a little dinner together.
Yes. Very good. We'll have another cream tea.
Yeah. Philip, thank you for everything.
Thank,
Thank you, Malcolm.
thank
Until the
you, Greg.
next one.
Until the next one, yes, I'll hold you to that.
We'll invent another one, another reason.
Oh yes, there's always something we can think of. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Take
Goodbye.
care.
Nice to
Take
see
care,
you.
Malcolm. Nice to see you,
Lovely to
Malcolm.
see
Bye.
you.
Take
Bye,
care.
David.
Night night. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, David. I thought that was really good.
Pleasure. No, very
But
good.
thank you, David, for everything. It's been greatly
Pleasure.
appreciated.
Thank you. Well, we'll do something again one day, I'm sure.
I'm sure you will.
Meanwhile, you take care and
You too, David.
hope to see you again soon.
Good day. Take care. Have a nice week.
Thank you very much. Night night.
Bye, David. Night.